Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Time to take that walk and go see what's in the fridge today. Hello everybody, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. This is going to be a monster beer, guys. Avery is known. Have you seen some of the reviews I've done lately from the beers of Avery that I've done, the pumpkin beers, and some of the others that I even have downstairs that I've been cellaring for a couple years now. They are known for doing these monster-sized beers. This is their Avery 5 Monks, a barrel-aged Belgian-style quintuple ale. This is their number 22 in their barrel-aged series, ale-aged in bourbon barrels. This was bottled on July 17th of 2014. Not quite 6 months old, coming up on 5 months old. They did 874 cases of this beer. This beer is 19.39% alcohol by volume. That's almost to the liquor stage. I mean, almost 20%, 19.39%. And this comes from Nate. Nate sent me this in the massive beer mail package that he sent about a month or so ago. And he put a note on the bottle, and it says, "Feel free to cellar big beer, Nate." I would love to cellar this, but like I tell you guys, when y'all spend your hard-earned money for a beer like this, and this is not a cheap beer. This is a pricey beer, I'm sure. At almost 20%, 19.39%. This beer is not cheap. It wouldn't surprise me if this beer is not $10, $15 a bottle for a 12-ounce bottle. It could be even more than that. I don't know what Nate paid for this. But their beers, when they get to that kind of alcohol and they're bourbon barrel aged, these beers take up space in the brewery or the warehouse or wherever they keep them. And plus the time it sits in the bourbon barrels, these beers tend to be a little on the pricey side. So you don't go buy a 4-pack, a 6-pack, or a case of this. You usually buy 1 or 2 of these because they are so expensive. And it's a beer for a special occasion. It's not something you'd want to drink every day. This beer is definitely a sipper. This beer would keep for 20 years or more. I can't think of a single reason why you could not cellar this beer for a long, long time. And as much as I would like to just shove this in the fridge downstairs and keep it for 5 or 10 years, I kind of feel obligated, since he spent his hard-earned money on it and money to ship that big box of beers that he sent me, to review it in a timely manner. So I've had it about a month now, and we're going to go ahead and review it. The only fuss I have about Avery is these tinfoil things they put on the top of these beers. These foils that they get on there are glued on tighter than Dick's hat band. They don't come off in one piece like a lot of the other ones do, the Terrapins and some of the other ones, where you can just peel the whole thing off at one time. These things come off in little teeny bitty pieces. So if you get one of these beers, be very careful so you don't get that foil down in your beer. I try to be extremely careful when I open these type of beers because of the foil is glued on so tight. So that's the only fuss I have about them doing this foil on those beers. The foil doesn't do anything to help the beer. I mean, it's just a decorative cap that adds a little bit of cost to the beer. So I kind of wish they wouldn't do it, but that's their little niche that they do on all their beers, especially these big monster beers that they do. So with that being said, let's go over and see what the commercial description says. It's much bigger and bolder than a quad, but the term sextuple seems inappropriate alongside a congregation of monks. So in quintuple it is. At 19.39%, I mean, this could almost be a octocouple, if that's a word. I mean, this is a monster beer, and I know it's going to have some booziness to it, and that's just the nature of the game. Knowing that going into the beer, that it is a 19 plus beer, I am expecting it to be just a little on the boozy side, and I would be very, very surprised if it is not. There's no way around that. When you're brewing a beer of this magnitude, it has to have some booziness to it. I mean, there is just so much malt used in a production and brewing of this much of a beer at 19.39%. There's just no way around it, and that's why I think that's why they do that, so they can produce this beer, and people will still be drinking it and reviewing this beer 20 years down the road. But it's got all the information you need on here, the bottled on date and the ABV, and doesn't have the IBUs listed on the bottle here, but it is a monster beer at 19.39%. So, food pairings for this beer, guys. Since it is a quadruple, is what they're calling it, but it's bigger than a quad. I mean, it is. Food pairings: cheese of buttery brie, Gouda, Havarti, Swiss, sharp blue, cheddar. Meat is beef, smoked meat, game. I will add grilled meat to that. Any of your stronger dishes, real strong dishes, would probably pair well with this. But just remember what you're drinking. I mean, it's 19 plus percent. I keep saying that, but I want you to realize how big a beer this is. This is like 5 Bud Lights or Budweisers or Coors Light or whatever. I mean, it's like drinking a 6-pack in one beer. So just get your arms around how big a beer this really is. So glassware, snifter, tulip, goblet, or chalice. I got my best friend Duvel glass here. This is my sidekick. I use it for these monster beers and stouts and stuff I want to enhance the aromas on. But like I said, I got a feeling this is going to be over the top as far as a little bit boozy, being as fresh as it is, a 2014 edition of this beer. So prime candidate, like I said, for cellaring this beer for extended periods. So if you get your hands on 1 or 2 of these and you want to try one now and put one in the fridge for 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, just to see how it changes and how the flavors come together, and see if the booziness drops off a little bit. Not sure it will. Some do and some don't. Don't know if this particular one would or not. And like I said, I do have some downstairs, a Mistopheles, and maybe 1 or 2 others, other monster beer series that I may be doing. They've been down there for a while, so I may do those in the coming months, just to see how they have matured and aged. So with that being said, I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about. Like I said, the beer can be cellared for a long time if you like to do that. So let me see if I can get the cap off of this without spreading the tinfoil everywhere. While I'm doing this, I will tell you there's only a couple of openers left. So if you're looking for one, the color availability is very limited now. Let's see if I can do this without getting any foil all over. There we go. Let me press on this so none of the foil comes off while I'm pouring it. There we go. Alright, 19%. You think it's going to produce a head? I would seriously doubt it and be very surprised if it did. Down the center we go. Well, we got about a finger of head on this 19+ percent beer, and I'm getting the alcohol from here. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I had one of my subscribers say on the sour beers I was doing, why would I do that? And he's a hophead and I'm a hophead too, and It told me to go drink a Bell's Two-Hearted Ale, and guys, I'm trying to expand my palate. I mean, I am a hophead. I like those. I love those IPAs. And I love the dark stouts and coffee stouts and milk stouts and some of the porters and stuff. I like the darker beers too, but I want to wrap my palate and my arms around some of these sour beers too, because it's a nice beer style. It really is. But it's just some of those beers are so sour and so tart, makes my mouth pucker up. So I'm trying to wrap my arms around that style of beer too. As you can see, while I'm flapping my gums, the head is dissipated now. So over into the light, it is a deep brown color, and I don't see any light through the beer, but it is a murky brown color to the beer. And with the amount of malt that they use to produce a beer of this magnitude, not surprising to me. The head is gone. I mean, I'm actually surprised that it poured as much head as it did, even pouring it down the center like that. But it has dissipated. So let's get a nose on this. Nate, you are the man, buddy. Whew. That is a monster beer, brothers. It is a monster beer. The alcohol is definitely up there. I'm getting the bourbon from the bourbon barrel aging. It is there. Nice bourbon smell. If you don't like bourbon, you won't like this. If you don't like a big monster beer like this, you won't like this. This is a sipper. It is not a chugger. This is almost like drinking a six-pack at one time. This is bigger than a Dogfish 120. Alcohol, bourbon, maybe some hints of dark fruit, some candied sugar. But the bourbon and the alcohol dominate the nose. That's basically what I'm getting. So let's give it a taste. Cheers, everybody. This is the final beer of the evening, I'm sure. After I drink this, I'll have my buzz on, no doubt about it. So thank you, Nate. You're the man. Cheers, brother. Cheers, everybody. Not going to lie to you, the alcohol is there. The bourbon is there. It's not burning down my throat, but the alcohol is definitely present. You know you're drinking a big beer. You know that by the taste and the smell that this is a monster beer. There's no hiding that. A little on the sweeter side with that much malt in the brewing process. But there is enough hops in there to mellow that out a little bit. But it is definitely sweet. And it is definitely boozy. Not overly boozy, but for what is overly boozy for a 19.39% beer? If you're drinking Coors Light or Miller Lite or Budweiser or Bud Light, this will, and that's all you usually drink, this will blow your palate out of your mouth. I mean, it might even be in the next county. You might have to send out a search and rescue team to find your palate. This is a monster beer. Now that I'm getting some down in my belly, there is some heat. But it is not off-putting. Realizing what I'm drinking, there's a lot going on here with the candied sugar, plums, dates, raisins, bourbon, some toffee, caramel, a lot of stuff going on with this beer. Very pleasant, but very warm. If you like sipping on some cognac or some bourbon or something like that to warm up in the wintertime, and here we are in November, this will be an alternative if you're not into the booze and you like the beer. This is very, very nice. It is very nice. Realizing what I'm doing, it's not something I'd want to drink every day. Absolutely not. Special occasion. For today's not a special occasion, but during the review here, I could see why somebody might want to pick up one or two of these and cellar it for a while. Or bring one out for a special occasion, Thanksgiving, Christmas dinner, or birthday, or anniversary, or something like that. It's only a 12-ounce bottle, but it's definitely enough in there worth sharing. You can almost pour this just like a whiskey or something, you know. Have 3 or 4, maybe even 5 people that you pour in a couple sips in each glass and let them all try it. So, very nice. Very, very nice. But it's right out of the fridge at 40 degrees, so let's let it warm up and come up to room temperature and see what we end up with. But pretty impressive so far, knowing what you're drinking. And that's and they do that. They put the alcohol on there and give you as much information that you need to know on this style of beer, which is a thumbs up for me on those guys at Avery. Very tasty. So stick around. I'll be right back and we'll do the final chug on this one, guys. Alright guys, I'm back. Got just a little left. This is a monster beer. It's like drinking a 6-pack all in one bottle. Definitely got my buzz going on now, guys, so very tasty. You got everything in this beer that you would want in a beer of this magnitude and this style. The bourbon, the dark fruits, the candied sugar, the alcohol. If you want to get your buzz on quick, this is a way to do it. This is definitely a way to do it. 19.39%. It's a big beer. You definitely get that. It's like drinking bourbon or a whiskey or something. You get that warming effect as you're drinking it. Very nice, very big, very massive. Not something you would want to chug down, and just unless you're in a hurry to get yourself shit-faced. Definitely enough to share. It's only a 12-ounce bottle, but it is so big and so boozy. I don't want to say boozy. It's not super boozy, considering it's a 19.39% alcohol beer. It's very nice. I consider this a special occasion beer. It's not something you'd want to drink every day, or drink more than one bottle at one setting, so or at one day. So it is definitely something to savor or something to age or cellar if you're inclined to do so. It's very nice. It's a very well made beer. It's got a lot of stuff going on with this beer, and I got a feeling cellaring this beer would only enhance that and let those beer ingredients combine and come together just a little bit better over time. So as much as I would like to cellar this beer, and Nate told me that I could, I didn't. I don't think that's right. So when somebody spends their hard-earned money for a beer of this magnitude, because this is not a cheap beer, like I said earlier, this is probably somewhere between a $10 and $20 a bottle beer. So it's a beer that you would want to drink multiple bottles of this, or something that you would want to chug. Like you would a Bud Light or a Miller or a Coors or something like that. This is a beer with a big, bold bourbon and dark fruit taste. So very pleasant. You just got to realize what you're drinking. It is something that you would that you probably want to share with some friends. I mean, like I said, instead of pouring the whole bottle into one glass and drinking it all yourself, unless you're just in a hurry to get shit-faced or get your buzz on. It's a very complex beer, even fresh as this one is, and I'm sure they would mature very well, selling this for 5, 10, 15, even 20 years. So with that being said, let's do the final chug on this one. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Hair's back, socks are blowed off. Very impressive. Very, very impressive. I'm amazed that these guys do such an amazing beers, and they are famous for doing these big monster beers as they do. Wow. Very delicious. A lot of stuff going on with this beer. Like I said, if you are able to get your hands on one of these beers, uh, and you're a seasoned craft beer drinker, or somebody that enjoys a monster beer of this magnitude, it's definitely worth picking up. It really is. It's a it's a special occasion beer. I've said that already, but it really is. It's not something you'd want to drink every day. It's it's one of those beers that you'd maybe want to pour 3 or 4 glasses, a little bit in each glass, and let a few people try it, just unless you're in a hurry to get your buzz on. So, with that being said, let's go see what everybody else thinks. I think it's a 10 beer, guys. I really do. It's so well made, even though it's a 19.39% alcohol beer. And you got to realize that when you're drinking it. I mean, if you're expecting something where the alcohol is hidden or subdued, it's not going to be there. The alcohol is definitely there. It's a monster beer. I mean, it's bottom line. It's a monster beer. It's something that you'd want to either drink for the final beer of the evening occasionally, or something you'd want to pick up and cellar for a while. So 10 beer for me. It's got all the information on the front that you need, when it was bottled, how many they did, what the alcohol percentage is. So very nice. Very, very nice. Over to Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate says 97, world class. Would not argue with that one bit. It is a world class beer. Just remember what you're drinking. It is a monster beer. 19.39%. It's like drinking a liquor. You would not, in my opinion, you would not want to drink this in a bar. You would not want to drink this on tap somewhere, then have to drive home unless you had a designated driver or somebody that's going to get you home. Because if you drink one of these and you go through a road check, you go into the jail. You are going to jail. No doubt about it. So that's why I do all my beer reviews here, and especially the beers of this magnitude. This is something you want to drink at home. You really, really do. So that way you can enjoy it. You can sip on it at your leisure. It's just a monster beer, guys. That's where I'm gonna leave it. It's a monster beer. Over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says overall 99 and 94 in the style. I got a feeling that the 94 in the style is because it is so boozy. The alcohol is not hidden that well. It is a big beer. It presents itself as a big beer. It smells like a big beer. It tastes like a big beer. So overall 99 and 94 in the style from these guys. To me, knowing what I'm drinking, and knowing what it is, and knowing what these guys do, they do it very well. And I appreciate that. I really do. This is, like I said earlier, I would love to have put this in the refrigerator and cellar this beer for 5, 10, or even longer. Because this beer will keep. There's no doubt about it. It will keep for years and years and years. And it would be interesting for me to know how this beer ages 5, 10, 15, even 20 years down the road. So if I get my chance to pick up another one of these, I probably will, and put it away for a while, and just to see what the difference is, and re-review it 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, just to see how it changes. I got a feeling that the booziness is not going to go away, but the ingredients may come together just a little bit better than what they are right now, being a fresh bottle that it is. So, if you've had this one from Avery, this is their Barrel Aged Series 22 5 Monks, 19.39%. Let me know what you think of it. It was damn tasty. I loved it. It was pretty good. Got my buzz on, no doubt about it now. Alright guys, we're going to wrap it up on this one. If you've had this one from them, let me know what you think of it. It was tasty. It was damn tasty. It's pretty big. Got my buzz on. How about you? Come on back tomorrow. We're going to take a look in the fridge, see what we got in there. Doubt if we're going to find another 10. We've been on a roll here. And we got 2 or 3 in a row here. I think I got one more sour in the fridge from Avery. We'll see what that one brings. It's a monster beer too. Might do that tomorrow or the next day. We'll see. Come on back and see. See you then.